1960s were truly America's golden era of muscle, when Detroit's finest weren't content with ordinary cars. Instead, they packed massive V8 engines, crafted thunderous exhaust notes, and built machines that settled quarter-mile duels at stoplights. These weren't just cars, they were symbols of freedom, power, and American pride, capturing the hearts of an entire generation. Today we're taking you back to that unforgettable decade to explore 10 of the quickest muscle cars of the 1960s. Machines that didn't just make history, but still make our hearts race even now. Some were affordable street warriors, while others became rare, six-figure treasures collectors would kill for. Stick with us, because you might spot the car you once owned, the one you always dreamed of, or a rare legend you've never even heard about. Let's hit the road and relive a time when gas was cheap, tires were wide, and America ruled the highways. Number 10, the gentleman's muscle car. Can you picture a muscle car with real class? That was the idea behind the 1967 Plymouth GTX. Advertised as a gentleman's muscle car, it promised raw power without sacrificing comfort or style. Under the hood, you had choices. The 440 cubic inch Super Commando 508 delivered 375 horsepower, plenty to roast the rear tires. But if you wanted to make the competition truly sweat, there was the legendary 426 Hemi, rated at 425 horsepower. That Hemi didn't come cheap. It added over $1,500 to the price, a big chunk of change in 1967. Not surprisingly, just 720 Hemi GTX were ever built. That rarity is exactly what makes them so prized today among collectors. But make no mistake, this was no poseur. The GTX could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, and tear through the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds. It was a car that let you wear a suit to the office and still blow the doors off anything at the Saturday night drags. A true dual personality, elegance and raw American muscle. Number 9, the blue-collar bruiser. If the Plymouth GTX was the gentleman's muscle car, then the 1969 Dodge Super Bee 446 pack was its rowdy blue-collar cousin. Built for drivers who cared more about going fast than fancy trim, the Super Bee was Dodge's way of saying, you don't need to be rich to own real muscle. Its secret weapon, the 440 cubic inch V8 with the famous six-pack setup, 3 two-barrel carburetors gulping air and fuel like a man downing 6 cold ones after work. That combo cranked out 390 horsepower, enough to leave plenty of pricier rivals in the dust. At the strip, this beast ran the quarter mile in 13.46 seconds, proving you didn't need a Hemi to be taken seriously. But there was something even more special, the A12 package, offered only for half of 1969. With its lift-off fiberglass hood, blacked-out steel wheels, and raw attitude, it was built to intimidate. Fewer than 2,000 of these A12 Super Bees were made, making them rare, desirable, and a true symbol of no-nonsense American muscle. A car for those who wanted all the power, with none of the pretense. Number 8, the NASCAR-bred Charger. Now let's talk about the 1969 Dodge Charger 500 Hemi, a car born from pure racing ambition. Dodge realized the standard Charger was gorgeous but aerodynamic disaster on the high-speed ovals of NASCAR. So they went back to the drawing board and created the Charger 500, smoothing the grille and tucking in the rear window to cut the air clean. But it wasn't just the body that made this car special. Under that long, menacing hood sat the legendary 426 cubic inch Hemi 5.8, belting out 425 horsepower and a monstrous 490 pound-foot of torque. This wasn't just street cred, it was racing technology brought to Main Street. In a world of quarter-mile times that made headlines, this beast ran it in 13.35 seconds. But if you wanted one back then, you needed deep pockets and a bit of luck. Out of 392 Charger 500s built in total, only 27 came with the Hemi and a 4-speed manual. Today, owning one is like holding a winning lottery ticket for gearheads, with prices soaring well above $200,000. It wasn't just a car, it was Dodge's answer to NASCAR dominance, tame just enough for the street. Number 7, the sophisticated Street Fighter. Next up is a car that proved muscle didn't have to mean crude. the 1968 Oldsmobile 442 W30. While Dodge and Plymouth were busy making bare-knuckle brawlers, Oldsmobile took a more refined approach, without sacrificing an ounce of power. Under the hood sat a massive 455 cubic inch V8 with ram air induction, delivering a stout 360 horsepower. This wasn't just about raw numbers, it was engineered to breathe better, rev cleaner, and deliver that glorious surge of torque right when you wanted it. How quick was it? The 442 W30 could blast through the quarter mile in 13.3 seconds, making it one of the quickest muscle cars of its day, even if you wore a sport coat behind the wheel. And it was surprisingly affordable, with a price just over $3,000 new. But try buying one now. Pristine original examples can top $100,000, prized for their balance of speed, style, and sophistication. This wasn't a car for posers, it was for drivers who wanted to go fast while looking like they had somewhere important to be. Number 6. The godfather of muscle cars. If there's one car that lit the fuse on America's muscle car explosion, it's the 1964 Pontiac GTO Tri-Power. This wasn't just another sporty coupe. It was a calculated act of rebellion by Pontiac's engineers. They decided to drop a big 389 cubic inch V8 into the mid-size Tempest platform, ignoring GM's own rules about engine size limits. And they didn't stop there. The Tri-Power setup, 3 two-barrel carburetors, pushed output to 348 horsepower, delivering a surge of power that felt practically endless. How fast was it? Try 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.6 seconds and a quarter-mile time of 13.1 seconds. Numbers that could embarrass sports cars costing twice as much. Best of all, it was affordable. At around $3,300, it offered working Americans a ticket to the kind of performance that had been reserved for the wealthy. No wonder it became an icon, inspiring every other manufacturer to join the horsepower wars. This wasn't just a car, it was a movement, giving anyone with a paycheck and a heavy right foot a chance to own the street. Number 5, the lightweight heavy hitter. Now, let's talk about a true hidden gem for Chevy lovers, the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro SSL 89. While everyone was chasing big block bragging rights, the L89 quietly offered something smarter, lightweight power. It packed the trusted 396 cubic inch V8 rated at 375 horsepower. But here's the trick. Aluminum cylinder heads. Those heads shaved around 70 pounds off the nose, giving the car better balance, quicker steering, and sharper handling than its iron-headed siblings. On the drag strip, this Camaro wasn't shy. It could rip through the quarter mile in 13 seconds flat, crossing the line at over 108 miles per hour. For many, it was the perfect blend. Big block torque without turning the front end into an anchor. But what really makes it special is rarity. Out of more than 243,000 Camaros built in 1969, only 311 were ordered with the L89 option. That makes finding one today like discovering buried treasure for serious collectors. It was Chevrolet's quiet nod to the driver, who didn't just want raw power, but a car that knew how to dance. Number 4, the everyman street fighter. Now let's meet the muscle car that proved you didn't need deep pockets to go seriously fast. The 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner, a 12. Plymouth knew its audience. This was the car for folks who wanted raw power without paying for chrome, plush carpets, or fancy badges. The magic lay in the A12 package, which added the mighty 440 cubic inch six-pack, the IV8. That meant 3 two-barrel carburetors, feeding 390 horsepower and a massive 490 pound-foot of torque. It wasn't pretty, it was purposeful. Even the hood was a black lift-off fiberglass piece built purely to save weight and intimidate rivals at the local drag strip. Performance? It crushed the quarter mile in 12.91 seconds, leaving plenty of fancier cars eating its dust. And while it was affordable back then, just a few $1,000s, it wasn't exactly common. Only 1,412 A12 Roadrunners rolled out of the factory in 1969. Today, it's a coveted symbol of that no-nonsense approach. All the speed you wanted and nothing you didn't. a true working man's rocket ship. Number 3, the dealer-tuned Rebel. Next on our list is a car that didn't just break the rules, it rewrote them. The 1969 Yenko Camaro 427 SYC. This wasn't some factory project. It was the brainchild of Don Yenko, a savvy Pennsylvania dealer and seasoned racer who knew exactly what gearheads wanted, more power than GM would officially sell you. At the time, GM had a corporate ban on putting engines larger than 400 cubic inches into the Camaro. Yenko found a loophole. He ordered Camaros with the special COPO code, swapping in Corvette's monstrous 427 cubic inch V8, pumping out about 450 horsepower. But he didn't stop there. These cars got fiberglass hoods, bold SYC graphics, rally wheels, and tuned suspensions, turning them into street-legal drag strip dominators. On the quarter mile, they clocked an impressive 12.59 seconds, blisteringly quick for a car you could buy at your local Chevy dealer. Only 201 were ever built, making them true legends today. It wasn't just a car, it was Don Yenko's middle finger to the rulebook, a rolling testament to American ingenuity and the golden age of hot rodding. Number 2, the ultimate factory beast. Now, let's talk about a car so wild it's practically mythical. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. This wasn't just another big block Camaro. It was Chevy's nuclear option, designed for drag strips and race teams that demanded nothing but the best. At its heart was the fearsome 427 cubic inch ZL1 V8, made entirely of aluminum. That meant it was lighter, stronger, and far more advanced than the standard iron block engines. Rated at over 500 horsepower, and with mild tuning, some claimed it could hit 600. This monster could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 4 seconds, and blaze through the quarter mile in just 12.1 seconds at 116 miles per hour. But here's the kicker. It wasn't cheap. The engine alone cost over $4,700 in 1969, more than many entire cars. Unsurprisingly, very few buyers bid. Only 69 ZL1 Camaros were officially built, making them some of the rarest and most valuable Chevrolets ever produced. Today, the ZL1 is more than a car. It's a legend of American engineering excess, proving Chevy could build the ultimate street-legal race car when they really wanted to. Number 1, the street-legal race car. Finally, we arrive at a machine that was barely tame enough for the street, the 1966 Shelby Cobra 427SC. Born from the wild imagination of Carroll Shelby, this was the ultimate fusion of British chassis finesse and brute American muscle. Under its lightweight aluminum body sat a fearsome 427 cubic inch Ford V8, belting out 485 horsepower and a stump-pulling 480 pound-foot of torque. It wasn't just quick, it was downright feral. The Cobra SC could rocket through the quarter mile in an astonishing 11.8 seconds and reach a top speed of 185 miles per hour, numbers that left even exotic European sports cars gasping. But the SC stood for semi-competition, a polite way of saying this car was really meant for the track, with just enough concessions to keep it street legal. Only 31 of these monsters were ever built, making them Grail-level collector cars today. Back then, it sold for around $9,500, a fortune for the time. But today, it's simply priceless. This wasn't just a car. It was Carroll Shelby's promise that American engineering could take on the world and win. The 1960s truly were the golden age of American muscle, a time when Detroit's best minds stuffed giant V8s into humble mid-sized bodies and gave us cars that were equal parts beauty, brawn, and rebellion. These weren't just machines, they were dreams on 4 wheels, symbols of freedom that still capture our hearts today. Which of these legendary cars caught your eye? Did you own one, race one, or just wish you had? We'd love to hear your stories, so share them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this ride through muscle car history, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you won't miss our next trip back down America's greatest roads. After all, there are still so many classics waiting to be rediscovered, and we can't wait to share them with you.